Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I know that's right. You're in New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
Welcome to our first, the Duferz, or Duferz, because we're a pack of Duferz, aren't we?
We're due for now.
We're due for now. Love it. So this is our first call.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for a long time now, and thanks to you last night, you initiated us to book a time in, and here we are.
And get going with it, because we've been procrastinating. But that's another topic.
It has.
My name's Christine Lowith, and this is my dear friend Sue Parrott. And we're here.
Sue Parrott, this is my dear friend Christine.
And we're here to share our connection. How did we connect? That is the question. And it's been an awesome journey so far, but we will tell you more about that. But how did we connect, Sue? What was the way and the means in which we connected?
Just relax, my dear. We're going with the old thing here. So we're okay. We're just having a nice two people having a cheat. Yeah, I know. That's good, isn't it?
A cheat. A chirp.
A chirp.
Two birds having a chirp.
I love it. Well, from my memory, we were probably early in the morning, 4 o'clock or something like that, on a Peter Sage USM call, Ultimate Self-Mastery call. And we were trotting on along, and I put in the chat, and from memory, about the same time, you did the same thing. And went, are there any Kiwis on board? And so I imagine I was scribbling all these names down, trying to keep up with them all that came up. We reached out to each other, and we've been inseparable since, really, haven't we?
I know. And that's exactly the memory I have. It was sort of like, we were both on this call and saying, who out there's in New Zealand? We'd like to connect. And so people were put your email in the chat. So we're sort of like copying. I was just copying and pasting into a document. That was what I was doing. And then, of course, I went and sent this email, and you were going, oh, I was going to do that.
And she even to this day, Christine often beats me to do things because she's more organized than I am, and she gets on and does things. So whereas I fluff around and have 10 things on the go at once, so nothing's changed much there. That's not true.
You've become a lot more organized. But it was from that amazing first connection, and then we started emailing saying, well, how are we going to connect to these people? What are we going to do? Because we just wanted to start connecting with people in New Zealand. And so, I mean, we just started chatting ourselves and started saying, oh, well, we can talk. And then we had about 3 or 4 calls with the group that we'd connected with, and then that died off because we got involved with other things and got sidetracked.
I've still kept in touch with a couple of others, not a lot, but one lady I have kept in a lot of touch with, and she's become another friend. So but it has been a very what I would consider we were meant to be. We were meant to connect. Yeah.
And it's like the whole synchronicity, or is that because we had it within ourselves that we wanted to connect with someone who we could share experiences with, because we'd both done EMF. For those who are out there who don't know what EMF is, it's Elite Mentorship Forum. And Sue did 12, EMF 12, and I did EMF 13. So we actually weren't in the same pod.
No, but we were not far apart even. No. So, to finish, it was like, I think, a month difference or something, and then you're talking about synchronicity. So I've got a sister called Christine.
And I got a sister, or had a sister called Susan.
And obviously I'm Susan, just cut down to Sue. So once we heard that, it was like, oh God, this is just, freaky, but great.
Yeah, I know. And the great thing is that this connection has helped me in my growth. Sue has definitely challenged me, and I know I have definitely challenged Sue. And that's the beauty of it, because we have done this program together. We understand certain idiosyncrasies, and also we've done another course together, which is Rory Kilmartin's archetypal course, which we love. It's so funny. I've got to talk about Tenerife. Got to talk about Tenerife. Sorry.
Yeah, let's go back a step.
Yeah. Sorry, it just came to my mind, and you can talk about how we got to Tenerife, maybe. But I was thinking about this time that we'd gone out in Santa Cruz, and I said something about, oh, I've just got to go back and get something. Yeah. And will you be here at this bar when I get back? Yeah. We'll be here. Well, I go back and get whatever it was. I can't even remember what I needed to go and get. And I come back to this bar. No one in sight. And then I'm thinking, ring, not answering the frigging phone. And then I finally get a message. Oh, we're at this. And
to be fair, we sent the messages before you rang us.
Yeah. I didn't.
We actually did let you know where we were.
Yeah, but the
reason why we met.
Anyway, let me finish. And then I finally sort of like meet up with Sue and this friend Marcus that we'd connected with and things, and I sort of like, wow, like this real full-on gorilla. So and Sue, of course, went into what back. It was so funny, but we were able to laugh at ourselves through this growth. We were both triggered, but we were able to, because of the training that we've done, because of the growth we've gone through, we were able to pull things back and actually see what was happening for each of us. Whereas if we hadn't done this journey, that could have been a friendship, a connection that was chucked out the window because of our own triggers that were playing out within us. And so I see how much we have grown through these 2 years. Is it? God, it's gone so fast. I can't believe it's about 18 months.
It's 18 months. Probably.
Yeah.
It's still a long time, isn't it? Really, when you think about it. But it's interesting. You obviously still have that in your memory. I've let it go. I totally about it.
I was just thinking it was an instance about our relationship and connection.
I'm just winding you up.
Yeah.
I've got to stop laughing. Excuse me. You actually bring up a really good point, because before EMF, I would have just sat there and taken that, and then I would have disconnected, and I would have gone inside of myself, and then it would have festered inside of me, and then at some stage it would have just blown. Yeah. And like you said, it could have absolutely have ruined our holiday.
Yeah.
And there weren't, considering how much travel we did, we weren't really that many of those moments, were there? I mean, when you think about it, for two people that had only, I think we'd met once, like in person, before we actually went overseas. So that just shows you the power of the work when you do the work. I mean, I've come so far, so far. My life wasn't serving me in any way or form. And I was really struggling when I came across EMF. I was probably, I don't know, quite in a very, very low place, even though I didn't realise it. I mean, I was dealing with the concussion and stuff, but I was just so lost, and I knew I was, and I had been all my life. And I say all my life because I'm now 54, so I can say that I've got half a decade's worth of experience up my sleeve.
I've got nearly 2 decades on you. No, not
yeah.
quite.
So, so that was an incredible journey, that wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm actually so honoured that it was you that I actually got to have that journey with. It wouldn't have been the same by myself. There were still triggers and stuff, but that's part of the growth, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And it was sort of like, I mean, how we got onto doing the EMF on the cruise and going there. I mean, we sort of like said, we're going to go. And then Sue, in her ingenious way, in her magician way, saying, let's try doing this and asking here and there. And that's what you did. Well, we did.
It's an interesting, I can remember the clarity of that intention. I knew, I just said it. There was something that said to me, I'm going on that cruise and I'm going to Tenerife for the first, for a couple of years, festival and Peter's 50th, and then the cruise. And I didn't know how far apart they were going to be. I didn't know, the how's none of my business. It was just like, I'm going on both. I'm doing both. I'm getting there. And that was before I even talked about to my boss about having time off, and and then the dates came out for the festival and then for the cruise, and we pushed for that. And that gave me 3 months away. It's like, right, Evan, I didn't really even say, can I was sort of quite direct, I think, and said, oh, yeah, well, I'm wanting to do this. I'll need 3 months off. I'll take the holidays that I've got and I'll do some time without pay, and I'll also work, while I'm away. I'll do some hours, check emails, and, so you can pay me as well. And then he went, okay. I was like, excellent. And then before I knew it, it was really interesting though, like, I feel for my mum and my sister.
Yeah, I remember you saying, because they were sort of like so wanting to know everything that was planned out and how it was planned out.
And I'm going, they're going to me, have you booked your flights yet? No. Well, I can't yet because I don't know what the end date is. So I don't know who I'm going to stay with. I'll stay with somebody. It's okay. All worked out in the end, and I got back safe and sound.
Yeah.
And it was amazing.
You had a fantastic time, and it's sort of like, I mean, I just remember going on that and us making that really clear decision that we were going to do this. There was no doubts, no ifs, buts, and maybes between us. It was so clear that we were just going to make this happen, and it just happened. And I was having so much fun. I'd been away for 3 months, and being self-employed or an entrepreneur, whatever. I didn't have to answer to anybody else or ask for. And I said, I'm not ready to go back. I'm going to stay on for an extra month, which I did.
So that triggered me because Christine and I had organised some accommodation that I was going to stay with a friend of hers. And all of a sudden, I didn't have accommodation anymore.
But you found it.
I had a travel mate to come home with, and no more. I was by myself.
Yeah, I know.
It all worked out though.
Yeah, it did. It was so cool. And this is the thing about connections through this. And it's been such a journey, and I've grown myself. And the thing is, I see things in Sue, and Sue sees things in me, and we have these amazing conversations. And this is why we're doing this, because we're going, oh, that was gold. Why didn't we share that? Or why
didn't we record it?
Yeah. And it's sort of like 11 o'clock at night and we're still talking. So, oh yeah, that was a good idea.
You're definitely a soul sister for me. And I'm so grateful that we both came into each other's lives I could not be where I am today without you. So
Same.
I just want to acknowledge that and thank you for being the love of my life at the moment.
Well, it's mutual, and it's like, I think that we have been so supportive of each other. I mean, again, the whole thing that it was through that initiative of sending out, yes, we were going to be community managers, and because we had made this connection through the USM people and that group, and then your brilliant mind going out there into the ether of creativity, and then I'm the one who pulls the strings and makes things more happen. And that's the balance between us. But we sort of like were putting out that we were going to be community managers, and we'd only not long finished our own EMFs in some way. And then we stepped in and we had an awesome time. We had a magnificent, magical group that we worked with who were actually still going through the program themselves, and we pop in every so often. But that was such a huge learning curve that we both went through. And oh my God, again, learning about myself, because I'd been working on my own. Sue's been working in some ways in the corporate world and with other people, and therefore used to communicating before taking certain actions. And I was being a solopreneur, and when something needed to doing, I just get on and do it. Yeah. And so it was so interesting. The triggers again. Sue going, well, you didn't run that past me. And I'm thinking, I
didn't have to.
Just needed to be done. I took the action and got it done. It was so like, again, it was that whole thing of being able to talk about it, though.
Yeah. And you know, in my past, like my sons are now noticing a huge difference, because in the past I couldn't deal with any conflict, like any chance of any form of, I would have to give any sort of constructive feedback, or in those instances, or even my boys just having this just really discovery calls in the car, and they get quite heated, and I'm like, that's enough, done. That's the end of that conversation. I just couldn't handle it. So, and I would just go, like I said before, into like total sheep mode and just shut down and disconnect. And it would just burble and go.
Just for audience sake, Sue, could you just explain what sheep mode is?
Sorry. Yeah, you've used Fox as well. We shouldn't use it. Basically, I would just shut down and disconnect. And disconnect was my way, my tool, I suppose, of being able to deal with that conflict, because I couldn't deal with it. So now I can actually start to have those conversations thanks to our experiences that we've been through. I just couldn't do that. And that, again, wasn't serving me. It was, in the end, I would be like a volcano, just ready to go. Oof. And when it did, it went, I tell you what. And I'm not an angry person. Well, I didn't think I was an angry person, but the way I'd lived my life, I was actually deeply inner angry. And that was making me quite controversial and talking with people. So, but if we hadn't connected the way we did, then I wouldn't have had that growth either. I don't believe anyway. So it's fantastic. I look forward now almost to being triggered, because every time we trigger each other, one of us has a learning, or both of us has a learning. And it's like, oh, that's what that was. Yeah. And sometimes there's real deep breakthrough moments. Like I can remember in Taupo, with another friend that we met through EMF, and she's from River. She was on EMF 12 with me, and we connected, and then she came over here, and the three of us were in a car in Taupo, and it's just 3 words were said about me loving me. Because I think we were talking about how I, over the years, hadn't fully really connected with love. And I just had to pull over, and this whole breakthrough, it's like, and that started them all. But again, that's those connections. It's being on the like-minded wavelength of being able to be in there and support each other to actually go through that level of breakthrough was an honor to have the experience with you both. I was so pleased you were both there. Because again, that's stuff that's been coming through from my childhood and was just stuck there.
Yeah, I know. And it's for me as well. I'm just thinking, if anybody's out there and they're going, what are they talking about when they talk about foxes and gorillas and sheep? It is a terminology that both Sue and I have become quite familiar with. And so if we are using terminology that you're going, what the dickens are they talking about? Maybe if you keep watching us, you'll get to understand. So keep you tuned.
And for anybody that doesn't know what EMF is, it's a 6-month transformational program with Peter Sage, and both Christine and I now or have been now for a year trained to deliver that program. We're just coming to the end of our last cohort, which has been,
I'm sad.
It's all like, oh, I know, because I just love seeing their growth.
I know, same here.
Transformation is just stunningly beautiful. It really is, and it's such an honor. I'm so grateful that they're so vulnerable to share with us and to be really open and do the work and trust the process, and they get to see the benefits. The great news is we know it doesn't stop, right?
Yeah.
It's a 6-month journey as part of the program. But what we know is that gives you tools for life. And if you want to, then you can take the transformation you've got and keep going with it and keep growing with it. And that's what we've been doing. So if anyone's interested, we're not doing a sales pitch. This is just a chat between two doofers, see where the conversation goes. But yeah, if you're interested, then Christine and I are available to have a chat with. We would love to have you on board. Just have a chat, see if the program's for you, or if we're for you, you're for us, because it's about how we connect together. Personalities, but also, you know, what your pain is or what you want to experience in life. So and we can, because we're planning to run another, we call them cohorts, which is a group of people who come in to go through the program. And Sue or I are planning to do another 6-month course very soon. And it's, to me, the connections I have made through this program. There's Jackie and Noreen, who we have connected with, and we're planning to do a retreat later this year in New Zealand. Well, we're not planning. It is December 1 to 3.
Yeah,
we're just in the planning stages. That's all.
That's what I meant. We're in the planning stages of finalizing the nitty-gritty of it, but we are going to be doing this. But these were people that we connected with through this program, like you were talking about, River, and there's Shmirti, and there's other people that we have connected with on a heart level,
and Michelle, and Scott,
and
Louise,
so Clee, the big Clee hug.
A Clee hug. And you know what I love about it all, about the connections, is they're heartfelt, and they're real. Like we just, there's no judgment. We take everybody as they are, and they are just the most beautiful, beautiful people, like so loving and giving and kind and heartfelt, you know, and it's what I call a true connection. And that's, I think, the change for me is actually I choose to have these people in my life. Because previously, when I was going through school and stuff, all I ever wanted was to be accepted, and for people to want me to truly be around. And so I spent my life trying to be somebody else. So then I wasn't being authentic. So none of my connections were authentic. So they were never going to work, were they? Right.
And for me, yeah, I joined this because of the peer group challenge. And for me, being a solopreneur, working on by myself, building my business myself, working on just on my own, I was seeking peers, people to connect with on that heart level, to share experience with, share growth, share knowledge with. And that was the drawing point for me. Oh, wow, there's this group of people. But it was interesting as well for me, because when I started up, I was sort of, you could say, a bit judgmental. I could be, who are these people? Will I have a connection with these people? They're from all over the world.
Am I good enough for them?
Yeah.
Me too.
It's sort of, can I give as much as I'm receiving, you know, because for me, and Sue and I have talked about this, we are going to talk about comparisons, but not today. But I have made so many beautiful connections through this, and I am so grateful for having invested in me, for me, to do this, because of the beautiful connections that I've made. And Sue is like now a soul sister. And you could say, what, back in the beginning of 2020, we didn't even know we existed because we weren't in each other's movies.
No. And you know what I was going to say, and you sort of touched on it there too, was because I wasn't being authentic, I wasn't showing up, or because I didn't know who I was, or who that, because I'd spent so many years trying to be someone else. Once I figured that out, then the true me was showing up. So I was then open to start actually thinking that I had some value, because I then knew who I was. And then the connections were even deeper because they were with me. They were with me as a human, as a person. So they were real connections rather than wearing a mask and the connection being with the mask, not with here. So I think that's the depth of connection and friendships that I'm getting, is because they're actually people that suit me. My personality, see me for who I am and who I am now, which is beautiful. And all these new connections, they got no idea of my past.
You don't really need to know them.
No, of course they don't.
And
because that makes it even more real, right?
Yeah.
It's actually here and now. This is the now.
Yeah. And for me as well, it's actually, I'm stepping into seeing within myself that others see within me. Whereas before, people would say things to me about certain things, skills or whatever I had, but I wasn't feeling it within myself, because I needed to do that growth within myself to really accept the praise, or whatever you want to call it, the acknowledgement from others. And I was having a chat with this lovely lady, Manjit, from the coaching program with Rory's today. And we were saying about when somebody gives you a compliment and you're sort of like, oh, no. Actually, you're really like giving that person a disservice, because they're recognizing that within you. And by not accepting that, because you don't feel it yet within yourself, it's like giving them a slap in the face and sort of like, I don't want to accept your compliment. And that isn't kind in a way. And these things I'm learning through these amazing courses that we've done and what we're doing for ourselves. And as I say, like you've said, I don't think I could have, I know 100% I couldn't have had the same growth without this friendship, without this depth of being able to cry, to be raw.
And hold space for each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do, I don't have to apologize, but I'm just going to let you know, the gardener, because I'm living on the property where I'm managing a wedding venue, the gardener has just decided he's going to mow the lawns. So he's going to go past it.
But this is an interesting thing. So, and this is where I was having this conversation with Manjit today, because I've got the settings in my Zoom so that any background noise doesn't get recorded, and I think you must be the same.
Do what?
Well, I can't hear the lawnmower at the moment anyway.
Oh, that's good, because I can.
Yeah, I can't. But it was so interesting because we were talking about the fact this is so relevant to what is going on in our brain. When we're having a conversation with someone, we've got all this noise in our head that the other person can't hear. So it's like you're saying, oh, the lawnmower. Oh. And I'm going, what are you talking about?
I didn't even know there was a setting.
Yeah.
Well done, me.
Yeah. What are you talking about? What do you, and this is things that are actually going on in our day-to-day lives. We're having a conversation and there's all this noise going on in our head that the other person has no idea is going on in our head. And we're reacting in a certain way and they're thinking, why are you reacting like that? What's going on? Because to me, I was going to Manjit this morning, oh, sorry, excuse the dog barking. And she's thinking,
what dog?
What are you talking about? Because the background noise isn't coming through.
Oh, there you go. See, you've helped me learn something again today.
But that's what goes on within us when we're having a conversation with someone.
It does. It absolutely does. And so that affects our connections.
Stops us being truly present with the other person and truly hearing what they wish to convey.
Yeah, exactly.
Because connection happens in so many different ways. Am I being present with you to connect with you? Or am I not quite here? I'm just sort of here, but not here. And you can tell that energetically, am I here with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I gesticulate a lot.
I cough a lot at the moment, so we're okay.
Yeah.
So we connected.
Yeah. And we stay connected.
I do, absolutely.
But does a connection mean, because you get a heartfelt connection, does it mean that you will not have your ups and your downs?
Definitely not. Of course we are.
Yeah, we're going to have our growth.
Exactly, right. And we've got to have the downs to appreciate the ups. You can't appreciate the up without having to know what the down here is. And it's all, I just look at it now like it's all part of my journey to my soul path, who you know, why my soul is here. Make people laugh.
Yeah.
Do that well. I make myself laugh every day. I can be serious, all right? I know
you can be serious.
I can be serious.
Yes.
Not very often.
I can have my lighter moments and I can have my organizing moments.
I'm very, very proud of you of going on the journey of being lighter more often than what you were, because your organization was pulling you into a place where you were just so stressed all the time. So I'm so proud. I didn't
recognize it as being stressed. It was just a normal state of being organized and getting things done. And you
constantly
don't realize.
Just not relaxing at all. Yeah.
And I was becoming a human doing and not a human being.
Yeah. And without that connection, we couldn't have helped you get through that. and grow into that. So
yeah,
I love seeing you. You're so gorgeous.
yeah. And we have such a great time when we do get together and laugh and just connect even in person and share experiences. And a lot of the time it's via Zoom or WhatsApp or whatever the connection, but it's a connection. And I think we also get a sense of when the other might be struggling and reach out unbeknownst, not because the other person has said anything, but we tend to sort of say, oh, I just need to touch base. And it tends to be relevant.
Yeah, totally.
So thank you for the connections.
Thank you. And I'm so sorry, carry on.
Which we would not have had if we hadn't chosen to invest in ourselves, believe in ourselves, to take this step towards growth.
Absolutely. So I look forward to so many more of these conversations, and thank you very much for putting the stake in the sand last night and encouraging us to get on and have this call today, because it's, as always, I love having our conversations and it just feels so natural and warm, and I love you so much.
I love you too. And we will put this up and see where it goes. The Duferz.
The Duferz.
The Duferz.
I love that when you came up with it. You're so good at coming up with names, honestly. Oh, I love it. All right. I'm going to let you leave you.
Yeah, I'll let you press the stop.
Oh, hit the red button. Woohoo!
Yeah, hit the red button.
All right. Love you. Stay amazing.